What is up, everybody? How are we doing today? This is Josh Markowitz, and you are listening live to your party station on Z89. For the first time since 2009, TNA Wrestling is back in Syracuse, New York, April 14th and April 15th for 2 nights of action-packed professional wrestling. Tickets are on sale now on Ticketmaster, but thankfully you will not have to wait until April to hear all about it, because we are joined today by not just an incredible professional wrestler, but an incredible and inspiring human being who is here to tell his story. He is kind enough to take time out of his busy day to talk to us for a little bit, live here in studio. He's the TNA World Champion, none other than the realist, the pride of Puerto Rico, Mike Santana. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Josh, thanks for having me. I love that intro. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Of course, man. And look, we're here obviously to preview TNA. Look, you guys are doing 2 huge shows at the On Center War Memorial Arena in Syracuse. Now, I'm a humongous wrestling fan. I've been following your career since I was, 12 or 13 years old when you guys showed up in the president masks at the end of the ladder match and All Out.
Yeah, man. I feel old.
No.
I'm still young. I just been doing it a long time. I've literally been in pro wrestling half my life. So, but yeah, man, blessed every day.
100%. I mean, you've been in this career for 20 years now. Physically, how are you feeling?
Surprisingly, I feel pretty great. Yeah, I feel a lot better than I thought I was going to feel at this age. But, it's also a testament to, constantly training, constantly taking care of my body, doing what needs to be done to keep the engine rolling, right? So, yeah, man, I feel great. I feel better than ever. And the beautiful part is, like you said, almost 20 years doing this, I feel like I'm just getting started. So.
Yeah, and I think the same thing. I mean, your run in TNA has been nothing short of incredible. I mean, you look to be in the best shape you've ever been in your career, and it's a testament, like you said, to training hard and keeping up the grind. And look, you're bringing TNA to Syracuse. You're the world champion, the ace of the company. I got to ask, what can you tell fans that are listening? What can they expect live at a TNA wrestling?
I mean, man, you're getting some of the best professional wrestling that's out there, right? Where we live in an age where there's so much accessibility to pro wrestling. There's legit wrestling on TV every day of the week, which is insane to think about. I remember when I was a kid, you had one day if you were lucky, right? And the fact that we're in such a boom period, such a golden age, I feel like, of pro wrestling where it's so accessible, so much of it is out there. But I think TNA wrestling does such an amazing job at distinguishing ourselves from the rest and just trying our best to be different and give something different to the fans. But again, they don't call us total nonstop action for a reason, right? So I think the fans are in for an amazing show. You have some amazing wrestlers on the roster, and we're all excited to bring the show to Syracuse.
Definitely, and I mean, you mentioned some of the amazing guys on the roster. I mean, the TNA roster is, in my opinion, the best it's ever been in the company's history. And, I mean, look, you're sharing a locker room with people like Jeff and Matt Hardy, Nick Nemeth, Frankie Kazarian. These guys have been around the block.
Yep.
And I got to ask you what it's like to share the locker room with those guys and also kind of be now at the point where you could be the one to give advice to younger talent.
I think it's amazing, man. I always say I love being able to work with guys like that because they have such a wealth of knowledge, right? They've been around for a long time. And, I always say, especially to the younger guys and girls, I always say, like, make sure to take advantage of that. Make sure to pick their brain because they've been doing it longer. They're obviously successful for a reason, right? So pick their brain, gain some knowledge. And the same with me. Like, I feel like in this business, you're always learning. Right? It's constantly evolving, so there's always something new to learn. And I think staying sharp and keeping up to date with things is key, so it's definitely special being in the locker room with them.
Was there a moment in time where in your career you felt like there was that person or that moment that really pushed you to become what you are today?
Yeah, man, I've been blessed in my career to have some amazing mentors, man. Guys like Conan, of course. He, coming into TNA that first run, we couldn't have chosen a better learning tree to sit under, you know what I mean? Because, like, this guy has seen it all, he's done it all, he's helped produce many stars, and to think that I'm a part of that crop and a part of that history is awesome. And he taught me so much about working that TV style and making sure that everything is legit, everything looks good. It's just being on point constantly. How to maneuver through a lot of the other things in wrestling, but also, guys like Homicide, guys like Amazing Red, who are also, TNA legends, guys like Low Key. All these guys I've been blessed to come under, and especially coming out of New York, being able to call those guys mentors is always something special to me. Also, my time working with AEW and being under Chris Jericho, getting to learn from him and work with him was definitely a special time. But yeah, man, again, I've been super blessed in my career. And now, like you said, is my time to pass on that knowledge, and I'm a firm believer in paying it forward. So, yeah.
100%. I mean, the names you mentioned, Conan, Amazing Red, those are guys that their blueprints are all over wrestling, and it's crazy that even people like Conan, like his blueprint is still in wrestling. He's still producing matches. He's still behind the scenes working with talent. He's an incredible guy. And look, I mean, you just kind of talked about it. You're running TNA, of course, you're running AEW, you're running the Indies, House of Glory, Wrestling Revolver, places like that. You've had the incredible run you're on now, but I gotta ask, last year, 2025, you won Pro Wrestling Illustrated's Most Inspirational Wrestler. I know you've had your inspirations, and now to be an inspiration to others, kind of like you mentioned in the locker room, but also to family members, to the world, really.
Yeah.
I want to know what that means to you.
It's something super special, man. Like, it was definitely something that came out of nowhere, and it really caught me off guard. Because at the end of the day, man, like, I just wanted to share my story and hopefully have that story help someone else, right? I didn't think of it as like, I'm doing it for this or I'm doing it for that. It was just ultimately like to help someone else, because like during my time in rehab, I learned that the thing that helps me stay sober is by sharing that gift that was so freely given to me, right? So I always just keep that in mind at all times and just, I mean, if there's any way that I could just change one life with what I've gone through and my experiences, then by all means,
How long have you been sober now?
I've been sober 3 years. I got 11/36 today.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a milestone. That's incredible.
And life throws challenges at everybody, and I know you faced your own, everybody has, and I want to know just 2026 on this Monday afternoon, how it feels to be sitting right here where you are right now.
I feel blessed. I feel amazing. I feel on top of my game. I've endured so much in my life, man, and there was a point in time in my life where I didn't think I would see 25, but the fact that I made it through, and not only made it through, but made something of myself, especially coming from where I come from and having gone through the things that I've gone through. It's something that I don't take for granted, and I'm very prideful about, and that's why I take my job so serious, because I know what I went through to get here, and yeah, man, I'm just blessed. I get to do what I love to do. There's not many people that get to say that, right? And I get to also show my little girl that anything is possible. Your wildest dreams could become a reality, you know what I mean? The fact that she has stood in a ring with me in an arena packed with people chanting my name, like, that is proof, like, firsthand that you work at your dreams, you make it happen.
Yeah, take me back to that moment at Bound for Glory when it's you and your daughter in the ring holding the belt. I mean, how special is that?
It was amazing. It's funny because I always say it felt like that moment exactly felt like it was just me and her in that building. And again, like I said, she saved my life, and I felt like winning the title and getting to that point and accomplishing that was my thank you to her. And that's why I presented the title to her.
It's awesome. Such a great moment. And I mean, look, we are now, I want to mention that we are on your party station, Z89. While we have talked a lot about your life and wrestling, I do want to ask, I mean, you grew up in the Bronx. Of course, you have strong ties to Puerto Rican heritage.
Yep.
Music-wise, what are you listening to before stepping through the curtain?
Oh, man, it all depends on how I'm feeling, right? Like, I, being from the Bronx, birthplace of hip-hop, right? Also, the place where the salsa music genre got its start, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like during the 70s with hip-hop and with salsa, we were creating an identity for ourselves, right? And those are definitely two things that I listen to. But also, I'll hit some Linkin Park. I'll hit some Metallica. I'll hit some Megadeth.
Hell yeah.
I'll rock some Slayer. You know what I mean? It depends on how I'm feeling. Like I grew up a metalhead too. My dad was a huge metalhead, and he introduced me to the genre when I was like 9, 10 years old. And I'll never forget him showing me the Black Album, Metallica, and just passing me the cassette tape, and it's just this, black cassette tape. And I'm like, all right, well. And I popped that in, and when Enter Sandman hit, man, it changed my life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Sandman ECW action.
Yeah,
That's
for
awesome.
sure.
And
I mean, yeah, you come from a culture of legendary artists like Bad Bunny, Daddy
Yeah.
Yankee, of course, in Puerto Rico, of course. But I do have to ask, I know you got Blast 89, who's a hip-hop artist
100%.
out of Yonkers, who is your soundtrack now to The Ring. And I want to ask how that collab came together.
So I've known Blast for a long time, and he was someone who I was a huge fan of. I got to meet him while I was dealing with others in music and stuff. And we had very similar upbringings and very similar stories. And he, out of nowhere, that theme song that I have today was something that he just sent me out of nowhere.
really.
And when I listened to it, it was like, he was talking about my life story in the whole song. Like, if you listen to the song, he's talking about my life story. And I was like, oh, man. But at the time when he sent it to me, I was still in a tag team, still, at AEW and stuff. So I was like, oh, man, I wish I could use this at some point, right? And that point happened, And it's the perfect anthem for me, It's telling my life story. It's a hard hitter, As soon as it pops on, it's like, oh, we're ready to go, So, yeah. Yeah.
So how long was that song in the back pocket at AEW before debuting that song?
2 years, maybe.
2 years.
Yeah, 2,
Okay.
3 years, maybe.
So so that song wasn't released to the public
No.
until you came out to it.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
had it sitting in my email for that long. Yeah,
And you're just like, this is the one, and now
Oh.
you're waiting 2 years for it.
100%.
I
Yeah.
feel that.
And now I want to ask, I mean, you've worked with Blast 89, of course. If there was anybody in the music industry that you could maybe work with and collab with in the future for a theme song, who would it be? Who are some of the icons to you?
Oh man, I'd have to say Nas.
Okay.
Nas to me is like, so for me, my 1 and 2 is Big Pun and Nas.
Okay.
Right, those are my two guys. Right, I would love a Big Pun anthem. If he was still around. Nas, Core Mega, which is another classic. Queensbridge dude. Mobb Deep. Just these hard hitters. You know what I mean? Like these anthems where you hear like. They have such recognizable voices that as soon as you hear them, you know who it is.
Yep.
Right. So, yeah, definitely guys like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a lot of that New York background, that hard-hitting background. It's
100%.
The type of song resembles you as a person and as a wrestler, 100%. So I definitely get that. And now, kind of moving on a little bit back to the wrestling part, I want to ask, everybody wanted to see you and AJ Styles, right? We got it teased a little bit.
Unfortunately, it didn't happen. Who was next up on your list of who you want to wrestle?
That's tough, man. That's real tough. Yeah, AJ was that guy. Like he was the guy. I've been blessed in my career to have worked with some amazing people. I got to wrestle the Great Muta.
Unreal.
Like first of all, how can you even top that, right? It's insane. I got to, I've wrestled one-on-one with Chris Jericho on live TV. I've man, so many people. I've like again been so blessed. I would have loved to, dream match, right? Like it could happen, it could not happen, right? I think my ultimate dream match, of course, would be either Brett or Sean. Those are the guys that I grew up on and the guys who really changed the game. I would love to wrestle Randy Orton. That'd be insane. He's amazing. Man. Yeah, I can't even pinpoint like just one. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, you've been so grateful to have so many, like you said. I mean, Chris Jericho, the Great Muta. I mean, that's incredible. Your career, it's kind of showing that you're so blessed to have this career that there's not even as many people to talk about who you wanted to wrestle because you already have.
Yeah, exactly. And what's crazy, like I told you earlier, like it's crazy that I'm just getting started. Like there's just so much more to go. I'm only 35 years old. Like I'm entering, like I just entered the prime of my career, right? And Yeah, I'm excited for what the future holds.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I mean, isn't it crazy to think that AEW was before your prime? It's
Insane. Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, it's insane to think like I'm 35 and I've already worked for the big three. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I've
Yeah.
blessed.
And so I want to ask, obviously you were at AEW, you were in Impact and you went to AEW, of course worked some independents, you know, in between all that. When you get from Impact to AEW, it seems like WWE is the next step, but it wasn't for you. I want to ask, what was so special about TNA and really the new TNA that we're seeing today that made you think this is my home?
Yeah, well, with TNA, like again, my heart was always at TNA, and they were really starting to rock and roll like during that time, you know. And I was like, oh man, it looks awesome, like what's going on over there, and you know, and thankfully, like I've always had a great relationship with the guys in the locker room, with the guys backstage, and stuff like that. So I always kept open communication. I always kept my ear to the ground and paid attention to what was going on. And yeah, it was just something I wanted to be a part of. And I knew that because of my history with the company, that it was just a perfect fit at that time. Especially, you know, coming back into wrestling after an injury, having to rebuild myself as a singles competitor. I knew that TNA was the place for that, you know, and I knew that I was going to get the opportunities to grow and to become better, you know, and it's paid off.
And that you did. You, I mean, definitely grew beyond
Yeah.
mountains and mountains. And I got to ask, you know, in the end, I do want to know your pro wrestling Mount Rushmore.
Oof. I'd say it's Bret Hart, it's Eddie Guerrero, it is, Bret Hart, Eddie Guerrero. Oof. Kurt Angle, you know. To me, I love workhorses, man. I love guys that just get busy in the
Ready,
ring.
get on the mat, yeah.
Shawn Michaels.
I mean, that's the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, yeah.
That's very close to mine,
Yeah.
pretty much, honestly. And I gotta ask. Lastly, you know, you've opened up publicly, you know, about, well, to end it all off, we'll talk. I mean, you've opened up publicly about your life challenges and how you overcame them, and obviously, mental health is extremely important to you. It's
Yes.
important to me. It's important to really everyone in the world, whether they show it or not. And you have a platform to show it, and you have, and that has inspired many people, of course. And I want to know, you know, what are 3 things that you're just grateful for right now?
Right now, I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my little girl who saved my life. And honestly, like, a lot of people don't say it. I'm grateful for myself. I'm grateful for myself, and I love myself every day, you know, and I think it's so important. Back then, I used to run away from the mirror, you know, because I didn't like what was looking back. Today, I love who's looking back. And when you get to that point, it's a game changer. It'll change your life, for sure. And at the end of the day, we got to live with ourselves. We're the ones we got to face every day, you know? So appreciate yourself.
Yeah, 100%. That's a strong message. And I mean, Mike, you deserve all the success that has came your way, that is coming your way. There are many, many more years to come in the ring, I see.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, we appreciate the time that you gave us today to talk. I mean, look, if you guys at home want to see the realist Mike Santana live in action, what are you doing? Go to Ticketmaster. Come down to the On Center War Memorial Arena. That is April 14th, April 15th. Those will be live tapings that will be premiered live on AMC Network. TNA Wrestling, Mike Santana, champion. You're the man. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you, Josh. Thank you.